So, have you ever stopped to wonder who actually makes sure the streetlights flick on every single night? Or who's behind that garbage truck that comes rumbling down your street? It's easy to take for granted, but our cities are run by this huge, kind of invisible system. And in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly how your city works.
And it all kicks off with a story. So, picture this. It's a classic neighborhood scene, right? You've got Mala, Shankar, Jahangir, and Rahana, all just having a great time playing cricket on a lazy Sunday afternoon. You know the vibe, lots of fun, a little bit of friendly competition.
All right, so Shankar bowls a real fast one. Rahana, she swings with everything she's got, and then crack. The ball just sails through the air and smashes right into the streetlight. Everything just stops, the game is over, and you can just imagine the kids are totally freaking out.
And this moment, it really captures a dilemma we can all kind of relate to, right? The kids, they know they should probably pay for the damage, but who do they even pay? It's not like there's a Mr. Streetlight they can just go knock on the door of. So the big question is, who is responsible for fixing it?
Well, that little accident ends up kicking off a pretty big investigation. Suddenly the kids are on a mission. They've got to solve the broken streetlight mystery and figure out who's really in charge here.
So their search leads them right to a neighbor, a woman named Yasmin Kala. And it turns out she's just retired from the city administration. She might be the exact person who has the answer. So the kids all rush over to her house and spill the whole story.
Yasmin Cullis just kind of laughs and gives them their first major clue. She tells them, look, there's no single person you can pay. The responsibility, she says, belongs to a big organization. And that one idea, it completely changes how they see the whole problem.
And of course, that big organization, well, it has a name. So let's officially introduce the hero, or at least the main character, of our story, the municipal corporation.
So what is the municipal corporation? It's basically the organization that's in charge of all those essential city services. Now, in big cities, you'll hear it called a corporation, but in smaller towns, it's usually a municipal council. It's pretty much the same idea, just on a different scale.
Okay, so what do they actually do? Well, a lot. I mean, yeah, they handle things like replacing broken streetlights for sure, but it's so much more. They're also managing garbage collection, making sure you have a steady water supply, running schools and hospitals, keeping up the parks and gardens, and even working to stop diseases from spreading. The scope of their work is just massive.
All right, so you're probably wondering, how does this huge organization actually get anything done? Let's dive in and look at the blueprint of city government. We're talking about the councilors, the committees they create, and of course the cash that makes it all possible.
First thing you need to know is that you can't manage a whole city as one giant blob. So to make it possible, the city is broken down into smaller, more manageable sections. And each one of these sections is called a ward.
And this is where we see a really important division of labor. On one hand, you have the ward councilors. These are the people who are elected by you, by the public. Their job is to represent their ward and make the big decisions about policies and budgets. Then, on the other hand, you have the commissioner and all the administrative staff. These folks are appointed government employees. Their job is to take the decisions the councilors make and actually make them happen, to implement them.
Now, running a city costs a lot of money. So where does it all come from? This chart here gives us a pretty good idea. You can see a big slice of the pie, about 25 to 30%, comes from property taxes. But that's not all. There are also taxes on water, on hotels and shops, even on things like movie tickets. So in one way or another, we're all chipping in.
So that's how the system is supposed to work, on paper. But what happens when it breaks down, when the garbage starts piling up or the water just stops running? For that, let's go back to another one of Yasmin Kala's stories.
Yeah, she tells the kids about this time when things got really bad in her own neighborhood. The garbage just wasn't being collected. It was piling up everywhere, on the streets, creating this disgusting, smelly mess. And worse, it started attracting rats and dogs and flies. It was becoming a serious health hazard. Naturally, all the residents were getting really upset. But one woman, Gangabai, she had this light bulb moment. She said, you know what? It's not enough to just complain to each other. We need to go straight to our ward counselor. And why him? Because we are the ones who elected him. He works for us. He's accountable to us. And let me tell you, Gangabai was not messing around. She didn't just talk, she acted. First, she got a group of women together. They went and protested with slogans right in front of the counselor's house. She actually convinced him to join them.
Then they put together a petition signed by all the adults in the area. They took it straight to the commissioner, and when he tried to make excuses, she called him out and threatened a much larger protest if things didn't change. Just brilliant. And the result of all this? It actually worked. After they held their ground, the sanitation services in their neighborhood finally became regular again. It's just such a powerful example of how organized, informed citizens can hold the system accountable and get real change to happen.
Okay, so we've gone from a simple broken streetlight all the way to a full-blown community protest. We've seen how the city is supposed to work and what we as citizens can do when it doesn't. But now, let's zoom in on a challenge that's facing a lot of cities today.
Yasmin Kala actually mentions one more thing, a big change that's happened since she retired. In an effort to save money, a lot of cities have started to hire private contractors for jobs like garbage collection. This is called subcontracting.
So what's the big deal? Well, this shift has a huge impact on the workers themselves. The work that used to be done by government employees is now done by a private company. And these contract workers, they're often paid less. Their jobs are temporary with very little security, and a lot of the time, they don't even have the proper safety gear for what can be a pretty dangerous job. It's a really complex issue with real human consequences.
When you boil it all down, the message here is crystal clear. Whether it's knowing who to call about a broken streetlight or understanding how the city's budget works, knowledge is power. Really, understanding the system is the absolute first step to making your community a better place.
And so that leaves us with one final question for you. Take a look around your own neighborhood, your own community. After everything we've talked about today, what's one thing, it can be big, it can be small, that you now feel a little more empowered to help change?